In the original story of Dragon Ball, Frieza had lost 3 mid-tier soldiers to the hands of Vegeta as well as his 5 Dragon Balls. So with all his men down, he is about to take things into his own hands before he has a premonition about the legendary Super Saiyan. He then called the Ginyu Force to come deal with the problem once and for all. They all got their 7 Dragon Balls to Frieza. Guldo got killed by Vegeta. Recoome gave a 5-star Namek Mania banger before getting one-shotted by Brock Lesnar. Then proceeded to bury the rest of the roster by himself before losing his body to Ginyu, but getting it back and turning Ginyu into a frog. But what if Frieza pulled a Thanos and dedicated himself to killing all these people before, and dedicated himself to dealing with all these lowlifes by himself? So before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you enjoy this type of content, comment down below for any video suggestions. Join my Discord as well, as it's where I am most active. Now onto the video. So without the Ginyu Force coming, we now know that Team Freestar has the 7 Dragon Balls. However, we have a problem. Does Frieza get lucky in finding Dende before the Z Fighters? Well, I don't think he would, because he doesn't have a scouter to track any Namekians down, and he would assume that they were dead, because it was with the scouter that he even realized that there were still some surviving Namekians. And with that, he would pull a multiverse and pretty much just nuke the planet and then leave. Goku would come and see all his friends being dead. He would find out that Nail is still alive and they would want revenge against Frieza, but King Kai wouldn't give them the coordinates to Frieza's place, but would suggest they become strong enough to deal with Frieza. Chi-Chi would be devastated that Gohan is dead. The Z Fighters would mourn the losses of Bulma and Krillin fell too. They would all confuse Nail for Piccolo, but soon adjust to him soonly enough. They would take a long time, but Goku would still have his max power be 180,000, maybe just a bit higher, because he would consistently still be training. He wouldn't get any Zenkai boosts on Namek this time around because there was no battles for Goku on Namek. Frieza wouldn't know about Earth, so the story would stay still onto the Android Saga. So yeah, Trunks would arrive and see Goku has still not yet turned into a Super Saiyan, but would tell him that he needs to at least get to his Super Saiyan power by the time the androids come in 3 years. Goku, Nail, and Roshi would train to defend the Earth, as they are the last forces on the Earth. Oh yeah, I'm assuming that Nail is of the Fighting Clan and not of the Dragon Clan, so still no Dragon Balls. As for why Goku hasn't fought Frieza, it's because King Kai would keep out of contact with Goku, so Goku wouldn't be able to get the coordinates to Frieza's place. The androids would come, and I still believe since in Super, Vegeta never got the heart virus on planet Yardrat, Goku got it through other means. So Goku would still have the heart virus, and he finally got Super Saiyan, but would still lose to Android 19 because of it. Nail would have to save him, and then Roshi would drive back to his car to get Goku treated in Kami House, but Jiro wouldn't let Goku go that easily and probably would kill off Roshi and Goku. It would be a very interesting battle. Wait, actually, I think Roshi could pull it off low-key. He has the Mafuba, and considering that they were training to defend the Earth, I'm pretty sure Roshi wouldn't just leave that up to chance and would take the Mafuba. So I could see Mafuba actually getting the W on Dr. Gero, so Goku actually does survive this one if he can survive the heart virus. But yeah, that would mean Androids 16, 17, and 18 would never be released from stasis. Trunks would arrive to find out everything was seemingly okay in the present timeline to the best of his knowledge, so he would ask Goku's help for killing the androids in the future after he gets healed from the heart virus. Goku would give his best support to him and also bring Nail to make sure they get the job done with a 3v2 advantage. They would come back from killing the future androids to their very shock, as humanity would be devastated, because future Trunks and Goku would find a perfect being that was born, being Cell. He would have had no problems absorbing Android 17 and 18, since in the future he came back to the past, which means he would have a lot of knowledge on the previous facts. And that also means he would know where their base is and the lab. So he would just absorb them as soon as they wake up. Yikes, what a terrible way to wake up. So despite Goku and Trunks and Nail's best efforts, whether they used the hyperbolic time chamber or not, they will still fail to defeat Perfect Cell, leading to both of their deaths. Actually, wait. There's a chance low-key that Goku and Trunks could pull this off alongside Nail, being the fact that as long as Cell doesn't get his hands on Nail's genes, they could actually use a full power Kamehameha to start disintegrating Cell's body and stuff like that. But I think Cell might play it more careful because he doesn't have regeneration genes. But considering that it's a 3v1, actually I do see Cell losing here because of the fact that he wouldn't have Piccolo's genes, and so that means they would get into a state where they would have to deal with Babidi soon. And considering Goku and Nail wouldn't take any chances, they would actually get rid of Babidi. So yeah, I could see that actually happening. Now with Majin Buu, I could actually see a situation where if they had to deal with him, Mafuba again could work, but Majin Buu has this weird magic, so we don't know how that would work. But yeah, honestly, I could see them surviving Cell as long as Nail doesn't get his body absorbed, or like any body. As long as Nail doesn't get caught off guard by Cell, they should be fine, as Cell won't have any regen powers. And Goku and Trunks, with their best efforts, especially if they went to the hyperbolic time chamber before facing the androids, would get the W against Cell. But that's only if they went to the hyperbolic time chamber and Nail actually didn't get absorbed. So let's go through both outcomes real quick. So with the negative outcome, the bad, we would have the fact that Cell would actually win and then go through his reign of terror, going through the galactic patrol and eventually down the timeline with all these people trying to kill Cell, but Cell would destroy every planet in sight. But he would have to use a spaceship since he doesn't have Frieza's genes, as well as Frieza never came to Earth. Cell and Deborah would clash and Cell would kill Deborah, but Majin Buu would be revived, which would be an interesting battle, but I don't see Cell beating Majin Buu. So I could see Majin Buu getting the W here and then continuing to do Babidi's biddings. Beerus would wake up and find out that the Saiyans are actually extinct since Goku and Trunks were the last of the kind, so he wouldn't need to feel the need to find the Super Saiyan God. This would mean he would take another nap, which means Champa would be able to get the Super Dragon Balls eventually to make his wish, since Beerus wouldn't be in his way. Goku Black would never have been born since Zamasu would never watch Goku vs. Hit. However, without Goku meeting Zeno, he would get bored of watching over 12 universes, especially if they are regressing, and just erase all 8 universes that were below the mortal level of 7. So yeah, Universe 7 would have gotten erased, which would have meant the end of our story. But what if they actually did beat Cell? I do believe we could get into a scenario where they do deal with Buu as well, especially if like Roshi is able to teach Goku the Mafuba. So that should be good enough for Goku and the Pierce to actually get the W over that. Beerus may come, but Trunks would be gone. Goku and King Kai's a weird one. Actually, I forgot. Goku doesn't have instant transmission right now because he doesn't go to Yardrat. He just directly goes home, which means there's a chance that Goku wouldn't be able to like go to King Kai's planet like whenever he wants to. So Beerus would actually have to come to Earth to deal with Goku, and yeah, Beerus wouldn't be impressed with him at all. And I don't think Goku's body would have been able to handle the Super Saiyan God, and there wouldn't have been enough Saiyans to even perform the ritual. So yeah, and they wouldn't even have Shen want to even tell them how to perform it. So the similar situation would happen where Beerus would fight Goku, get bored of him, and then instantly just like go back to sleep or whatever, and then the same events of the negative timeline would happen here. So yeah, there is no good timeline because Zeno just erases both scenarios, but there is like a better timeline where Goku would survive onto that point. But like literally everyone's dead. Bulma dies, Gohan dies, Krillin dies, the Z Fighters are dead, Nail is chilling still, and yeah, W Nail for surviving through that scenario. And then Trunks goes back to his timeline and he probably gets killed by Cell there if he actually goes through like the negative outcome. But if he goes through the positive outcome, in one timeline Trunks would die, and in the other timeline he would be ready for Cell, so he would actually live a peaceful timeline. Well, yeah, I just love bringing these dark and Dragon Ball what ifs. Let me know if you guys want anything else from Dragon Ball right now. I'm probably gonna get back to Blue Lock soon, but stay blessed. Suki out.